Hello everyone, welcome to Lighthouse Stamping with Lorraine. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Vancouver, Washington. Today is part 2 of our daisy cards that we are making from one sheet of DSP. So if you didn't see the first one, please go back and look at Monday's. And so we're going to get jumping right into this. Now I'm going to pull in a couple other stamp sets to finish the last of the cards. And like I said, I'm not telling you how many cards there are until we get to the end. So I have pulled in Dainty Delight because I want to use Celebrate You, and I pulled in Circle Sayings because I wanted to use the Happy Birthday. That's the only two things we're using out of those two sets. So you could use any other set you wanted. I mean, you could use anything to make these cards. You don't have to use the Daisy set if you didn't want to. So let me get this out of here and let me show you what we are making. Card number 4. That's where we left off. And this is card number 4. It's a very cheery card. Using a couple different colors of blue. So, we're going to start with some stamping here. So let me grab my little packet for card number 4. There out of my way, and we'll go over the rest of the pieces in a few minutes. For stamping, we need a piece for inside. We need, it is 5 1/4 by 4. This is a horizontal card. Our envelope, and then we need a scrap of white for our saying, and we are going to stamp our saying in Azure Afternoon, and this one says Celebrate You. And I'm just going to pop it right in the center here. That looks good. We'll set it off to the side for just a second. And then the inside of my card, grab my right verse, is going to say, wishing you the brightest birthday. I'm going to stamp that one in Azure as well. Now the inside of the card, we are going to be using my little cluster of daisies again. But we are going to stamp them in Boho Blue. Get the right color out here. Blue. I'm putting them in 2 corners. So that's the inside, and then our envelope. Okay. Now, before we go any further, I cut out of white, this die, I cut out the flowers. And we need to do a little coloring on them. So I'm going to take my mat out of the way. You can tell I've been playing with this. And I'm going to grab a blending brush, a couple blending brushes, and a sponge dauber. And we are going to pull in Pretty Peacock and Wild Wheat. So I'm going to start with the Wild Wheat. And on my sponge dauber, I'm just getting a little ink, not a lot. And I just want to put a little ink right where the little center of the flower would be. And you could use pins for this if you wanted. I just wanted just a little roughness. Didn't want it smooth or anything. And if it goes over, it's a little bit. It's fine. Just like that. That's it for the Wild Wheat. Pretty Peacock. Just getting a little peacock here on my brush. And then I'm going to hold this right here where the end of this is. And I'm just going to start brushing the leaves. Trying not to get the leaves or the petals of the flowers, just And you can get it as dark as you want, a little darker. But be careful, there's just a very slim piece of paper holding this. You don't want it to rip. It's very small right there. And I got a little blue there, or peacock there, but it's fine. Then we're going to come in with Boho Blue. And then I'm just going to come in here, and I didn't even wipe it off. What I'm after is the edges more than anything. So I'm rubbing it against the edges of the paper, so it's getting more on the die cut edges than on the thing. You see that? I guess I could zoom this in a little bit. So doing this is getting more on the edges because I'm actually brushing the edges. Or I got the little extra color up here. We'll give it a little extra rub there, but it's fine. They're flowers. They're never perfect. Go look in your garden. I'm just getting a little more color up in there. Not much. I'm not redoing. I'm just rubbing a little more color in. You can get these in as much blue and white as you want. Just like that. Or you can leave them all white if you wanted. Sorry, I didn't know that color wasn't closed. So there's our piece. So let's build the card. So we got a piece of 11 by 4 1/4, and this is Azure Afternoon, scored at 5 1/2. And we'll go ahead and put our inside in. Now this is one of the pieces we cut out on Monday. It is 5 1/4 by 4. Beautiful piece of paper. Now we're going to be putting that here, and then we have our verse we just stamped. And I am going to grab my oval punch, and I'm going after just a plain oval. Or, yeah, let's change this one up. Let's put it on the bigger oval. Why not? You know me, I'm always big at changing at the last minute. See how that one looks. I think it'll look really nice that way. Okay, so we're going to put them on just like that, and we are going to need some dimensionals. Now this one, you can get a couple large dimensionals in here, actually one. And then you need to switch to the small ones or cut up a big one. So I'm just strategically placing these around here so it's not visible from the outside. And enough to hold them on. Now I'm not going to try to do up on this leaf. I'm just going to tack it down with glue. That should be enough. And I'm just going to come back here and grab my glue and just put a little dot here. Oh, I am so bad. I'm sorry. I forgot to zoom this back out. You see what I'm doing? Putting a little glue here and a little glue there. And I want it sitting right about there. And then this will go like that. I'll get these out of our way real fast here before we have a mess. When you're making multiple cards, you got to keep your work area cleaned up. At least I do. And then we need to add some bling to this. So first we're going to make is a little bow. And I've grabbed white baker's twine. And mine's just an old packaging, so it looks different. It's still baker's twine. Same as in the other package. I just was finishing up the old stuff. We're just going to loop it over. There's two pieces. And make a little bow. You can make bunny ears if you want, whatever way you want to make your bow. I gotta try again. Sorry, I didn't leave myself enough room. I know you're all probably screaming, you didn't leave enough long enough tail on that side, Lori. I can hear you all now. Oh, you know, I don't have trouble buying bows until I'm doing this on air. That's why sometimes I tie these ahead of time. Okay. This is going to be I'm cutting these apart just to make my life easier. I keep on getting the loop mixed up in there. All right. No more goofing around, Lori. Got to get a bow. Because I just want a little bow. There we go. Just a tiny bow. That's all I wanted. And I'm going to grab a glue dot. Scissors are not ideal for this, but don't know where my little pokey tool went. It's grown legs on me. And we're going to tuck this right in here, just because I thought we needed a bow. And we needed some bling, and I went back to, I pulled those glossy dots back in here again. But you could use a different color if you wanted. Actually, I didn't use the glossy dots. I just realized that. I used the in color dots. They're very close in color, but we used the wild wheat. I used the wild wheat. There it is. Found it. And I'm just going to place a few around on here. About like that. And that is card number 4. And the envelope. So like I said, we're going to be stepping these up as we go. And so let me set these off to my side, and I need to clear a spot out real fast here, because you're going to see why in a minute. And I'm going to take a moment to clean my stamps I used. So I don't want anything wet open on my desk for next minute. Because number 5 is embossed. We're going to do some heat embossing on number 5. Now this is the distressed gold paper, and we'll go over that in a few minutes. But first we're going to do our embossing on here and here and our stamping. So, let me grab a few things here. My Versamark, got the heat gun at the ready. This is card number 5, so we're going to get the kit for card number 5. And get my envelope, and this card we are using very vanilla, not white. So we'll look at those pieces in a minute. So I have a piece of very vanilla that is 4 by 5 1/4. Our envelope, and then I have another piece of very vanilla that is 1 7/8 by 5/8. Like I said, very tiny. And excuse my notes. This is my scratch paper I've been working on. And we're going to put those there. And grab my embossing buddy. Make sure my fingers don't have stuff all over them. And give a good brush where we're going to be embossing. And we're going to be using that little stamp that says happy birthday, and then the other large happy birthday, or that brightest birthday on the inside. So Versamark, do the happy birthday on the little piece. Sorry, I got to move this in so I can see it. Like that. And then this one. Squared away here. Always close your Versamark before you take and open the embossing powder. Now I keep my embossing powder, especially my gold, in this little tub. So I tend to use gold more than anything. Carefully picking this up. Give it a little more right there. Looks pretty good. And then this one, I'm just gonna right over my writing and then flick it off. Oop, need to go again. There, we got it this time. Missed a spot. Looks good. Get this out of my way. And let this heat up. Turn your volume down. Maybe a little loud. There it goes. Just like that, we're embossed. Embossing gives a big wow to any project. Okay, let me, a little powder on there, I'll get that off. So let's finish our stamping on the inside and the envelope. We are going to use Pretty Peacock, which I knew we just had Pretty Peacock out here. There it is. And I'm using my cluster of flowers again. I like them, and they make a good accent to your card. Oop, forgot my mat. You can stamp without a mat, but I think the detail is much better with a mat because you need that extra cushioning that you don't have like rubber. You know, if you got the rubber mat, you've got this pad here. These you don't, and this gives that extra little ounce there. And then we do need our envelopes. We'll do that right now. Just like that. And that should be all of our stamping. So, those pieces. Bear with me 1 second. Despite using everything, the tub and everything, there's still embossing powder on my desk. And I keep on running my hands in it. Okay, let's bring all those pieces back in. So we have a piece of Pretty Peacock that is 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. This is going to be a top fold card. So let's go ahead and put the inside in. That's why I went with the very vanilla. I think it looks very vanilla and Pretty Peacock together is just amazing. And this is our piece from the paper we cut on Monday. This is 4 by 5 1/4. It's going to go on the front. Bear with me 1 second here. There we go. My fold was not exactly the right way, but I'm going to fix it right there. There we go. So then I needed, for my label, this is a piece of paper. I started with a piece of paper that was 3 inches by 1 1/2. And I used this one here, the tiniest one out of the Scalloped Contours dies, to cut that out. And then this piece that I gave you the measurements for already, and it'll be in the description below, is perfectly fits on that. There's a let me see if you can see it. You see the little box in there? There you can. That is the size that fits perfectly on that. Excuse me, I have the hiccups all of a sudden. Fits right on that little box. Right like that. So that's for on here. And then I have a piece of Pretty Peacock that is 4 1/4 by 1 3/4 of an inch high. And that I'm going to put in at about 1.5 inches, roughly, right about here. And it's going to go from side to side. Sorry if you hear that. That's the street sweeper coming to clean our street, which is a nice thing to have happen every once in a while. I prefer when I'm not filming. Now, this is a piece of the distressed gold paper that I cut out. I started with a 4 inch by 3 inch piece, and I actually cut around so it's rather ragged, but that's approximately what you need. Now, you see this one's already come apart right there. It's very lightweight paper. I'm not going to put this on dimensionals. Now, if you wanted to put this on dimensionals, you need to put something behind this, some cardstock, to make it more secure. It's just way too lightweight. It will rip. As you can see, I've already ripped one just handling it. So I'm actually going to put it flat, which I think looks beautiful. But you can decide for yourself. But it is more delicate than, other stuff. So I'm just going to put a little glue. I'm actually going to grab my mat here so I can set it down. Because you don't have big pieces holding this together. There's a little tab there, a little tab there. Cardstock holds together pretty good, but the lighter weight paper does not. So I'm just putting a little glue here and there, and a little on this. Just enough to hold it in place. And then I will set it down where I want it, but I'm going to make sure I push my daisies back together so they're lined up together the way they were supposed to be. There's that. And then our little saying here, we're going to put it on dimensionals. Well, I have a lot of, just use some more side pieces since I have them. That works for me. And sort of decide where you want that. Now I decided this did not need a lot of bling on it. But what it did need it needs a little butterfly. One little butterfly right here. So that's this card. This is card number 5. So let me clean up my stamping area real quick before we start the next one. So we'll take 5 out of the way. I'm re-tagging them as I go, so when I take my pictures, they're in the right order. Okay. I'm gonna clean off that. I forgot one. Okay, card number 6. This is card number 6. Card number 6 has some embossing and lots of colors that I was like, okay, am I really going to put these together in a card? And I was surprised how pretty it turned out. So I'm using 3 of the pieces out of our set, the stripe, the green, and this. I'm only using the front of that paper, by the way. I made a point when I was doing this to only use the front of the paper. So, and then we have the inside. A little more stamping on this one. So let me get out the pieces that we need. Bear with me just one moment. Oh dear. I forgot to grab some scrap paper. Here we go. Because we need to make 4 daisies. I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you how to do the daisies on the inside of the card and the envelope. Because I didn't want to spend the time cutting out all the daisies, and I figured if you've seen it on the envelope, it's this exact same thing. All I did was die cut it. So, part number 6 on that one. Okay, so we need our stamping mat again. And I want to look what I did with the inside. Okay. So what I did was I took the daisies and this verse here, and we use Moody Mauve. So we'll do the daisies first. And you have a solid and a detailed. This one, I go back and forth with this one, so we'll do the solid first. This one is a solid one, and I'm putting one down in the corner here. Like that. And then I'm going to put one. Hang on. I have things in my envelope I didn't take out. Just one moment. It's called daisies. They were stuck in the bottom. And there. Now this is the detailed one, and I want to make sure what I'm lining up is there's 4 here that sort of flatten out a little bit. And I found that that I'll get that in the right way. Hang on here. Right. Get those 4s lined up. Sorry if my head's getting in there. You get those lined up, then you know where you're going. So we're going to stamp once. We're going to stamp off. And line up all of our daisy parts. Just like that. And then this one. And if I didn't turn my stamp too much when I was stamping, we're going to go like that. And then our verse on the inside of the card, same birthday wish. I know I'm using the same one quite a bit, but it works. That's Moody Mauve. And then we need to stamp one more thing, is we need to stamp our happy birthday. Yeah, we'll stamp him right here because we're going to punch him out. So, let me clean these up really quick. Like I said, I don't want to go grab them in the next one and not have the wrong color in. So we are going to need to punch this out, and I'm just using the oval punch again. And as usual, I'm a little too long. I'll just cut a piece out of here. I still didn't cut it. A little more. There we go. Okay, bear with me. It's being difficult. If you stick your fingers inside a punch like I'm doing right now, be very careful. I'm gently pushing down on the punch. I'm removing my fingers before I push, because you can actually cut yourself and break a bone if you don't. So just a little safety advice there. No broken bones, but I did cut myself. So let's build this card. So we have a piece of Pebbled Path, and this embossing folder I used was the Timber 3D embossing folder. It's that one. And I embossed the front of the card. This is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And this is a landscape card with a top fold. And then I took the pieces. These were the yellow. And this was the the flower and the green out of there. And I cut each of these. You can get 2 of these out of the yellow. So I cut them down to 2 3/8 by 1 3/4. Like I said, all the dimensions are listed below. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount them on my card like this. Try to leave about the same border. It's a fairly large border. But I picked this size because this was the size I could use to get 2 pieces out of the yellow. Like I said, I only wanted to use that 1 sheet of DSP, and that's what I did. Used cardstock, did use a little bit of specialty paper, but only that 1 sheet of DSP. And that was my goal when I sat down to design cards. And then the green one. Just like that. Let's go ahead and hook the inside in while we're gluing. I went with the Pebbled Path. I kept on looking what color to use. I wanted a very neutral color because these colors just realistically don't go that well together. So I thought, we'll go light. Oh, now I forgot to do one thing. I did not finish my daisy. I just took, this is my Daffodil Delight. There is a center you can stamp in it, but I wanted just a really simple. So I just colored in. You can use any color you have. And that is what I've done on all of our daisies. So let's pull our daisies in here and our leaves. I already punched out a Moody Mauve back for our happy birthday. So what I'm going to do with each of the flowers, setting them here, is I've made a leaf for each of them. So I need 2 of them where the leaves are going this direction and 2 where the leaves are going that direction. Just takes a dot of glue to hold it. We're just tacking them in place right now. Grab this again in case I get glue out. Maybe. Now this one, like I said, I need 2 going the other direction. And the last one. They don't have to be in the same spot. Doesn't matter. Okay, so there's all of our little guys here. We're going to flip them all over because everybody's going on a dimensional. And, well, we have 2. I'll save those long ones for later. So, it's time to open a new package of dimensionals. I'm going to put 2 dimensionals on here. And the reason I said you just need a touch of glue is I'm going to put one right over the flower or the leaf that I put on the back there to make sure it doesn't come off. You probably could just use the dimensional to hold it, but I like them doing them this way. Okay, first we're going to put on our verse in the center. Happy birthday. And then we're going to put on our flowers. And 1 in each of the little quadrants. This one goes over here. This one. And for some bling on this, I went back to the In Colors again, and this time I used Pebbled Path, and I'm only using 2. I'm going to use this one. I use the small, but I'm going to use the medium one on this one. I'm putting 1 here and 1 here, and that is card number 6. I know this one's running long. I just could not, I'm trying to keep the length down, but sorry. So this is card number 6. Flag him. But we are almost done, because I ended up making 7 cards. And here's card number 7. It's this one. This says, "Oopsie daisy, so sorry." So let me grab my pieces for card number 7. This one only has flowers stamped in the side, so I can write, you know, whatever message I want. So we'll get the pieces out here. I have done the die cutting ahead of time. So for our inside of our card, we need our white. And these are the last 2 pieces. One is 3 by 4, and this one is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And I didn't cut them down. If I remember, I did not cut this one down. These are the daisies. I've showed you I die cut this out before. And then in the set, there is this die, and this die. I'll go ahead and put this one in here while I'm in here. That cut these pieces, and we'll mount those onto the white to make our daisy. Actually, just do this right now. We got the glue, we got the pieces, might as well. Doesn't take a lot, just a little bit of glue here and there, and just hold it down. And let's see here. I have to figure out how it goes in. After you've done a couple, it goes in pretty easy. Just like that. And then this one, I'm going to lay this one down here first to get my bearings. It's that way. There we go. And this one's pretty obvious. And you can use whatever color you wanted. I'm just going to go ahead and use daffodil. Now I'm just putting a little daffodil in the center here and a little here. You could use blenders, you could use different colors. Like that. And we have to do one piece of surgery on this. This one, we are removing the leaf because I don't want it. So that's how you put that together. Let's do the stamping real quick. There's not a lot. Grab my mat. And we are using Boho Blue on this card. And this one we are stamping one in this corner, one in that corner, one on the envelope, and then we are stamping. This is the die that we used earlier, and we are doing the Oopsie Daisy, so sorry, in Boho Blue. Just like that. So let's build the card. This is, now back to the Pebbled Path again. This is 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. And we're going to go ahead and put the inside in first. This, if I didn't say it was 4 by 5 1/4, standard size for an inside of a card. So this is the last card. I know it's running a little long today. I wasn't sure how long the second part would take. This is the large scallop contours die here. I started with a piece of paper that was 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so a quarter sheet of paper. Just like that. And then our mats here. This one is 3 by 4, and this one, I already gave you the sizes, and it's all listed below. So what I did was I took this one and I lined it up right about like that, with just a little border around. You could actually see there's a little line on the die when it cuts out. It's like a little frame. And then this one's going up in this corner. If you wanted to conserve paper, you could cut a piece out of this if you wanted, and, you know, cut the center little corner out if you wanted. But I see no need. Line that one up like that. I'm going to grab some dimensionals. I'm just going to grab the little ones. One more down here. And grab 2 big ones for this. About like that. And put him in the center. That looks pretty good. And I'm going to grab the ink colors again, and we are going to use Boho Blue. I'm going to put a large one up here. Medium one about here, and a little one here. So this is all the cards we made in the last 2 days. I'm going to set them up here real fast, and then we will call it a day. So that is card number 7. I need to put these on here so I don't mix them up. Here is card number 6. Here's card number 5. This is card number 4. That's for today. And then on Monday, we made card number 3. Card number 2. And card number 1. Like I said, so I got 7 cards out of the 1 sheet of DSP. You could probably get more if you use smaller pieces, but that's what I came up with. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you missed one, you might want to go back and check that out. So thank you for visiting me today, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on Friday. I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I guarantee it won't be daisies. I love them, but it's time to move on to something else. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.